In this brief video, we'll cover how to get started using Zotero. To get started using Zotero, first go to the Zotero website at zotero.org. Next, click the Download button. You'll see that you need to download Zotero, and you'll need to install the proper browser connector. You'll need to install a browser connector for each browser you intend to use with Zotero. I recommend using Chrome or Firefox. Once you've installed Zotero for Mac or for Windows and the proper connectors, you'll want to go in and register for an account. Registering for an account allows you to sync your Zotero library so that you can pull it up anywhere you have internet access. It's also a way for you to back up your files. Now let's set up our Zotero library. If you're just starting out, your library will be empty. If you're using a Mac, click on Zotero and Preferences. If you're using a PC, click on Edit and Preferences. Here's what that looks like on a PC, Edit and Preferences. In this pop-up window, if you select General, you can deselect Automatically Take Snapshots. This will save file space and will prevent Zotero from saving screenshots every time you save a document. Next, click on Sync. This is where you'll sign in with your Zotero account in order to sync the Zotero library that's on your computer or tablet to your online account. Next, click on Cite. This is where you can choose your citation style. If you click on Word Processors, you can see that Zotero has automatically recognized that I use Microsoft Word and it's installed a Microsoft Word add-in. You need to integrate whatever word processing program you're using with Zotero in order to have it automatically create citations. If you use Google Docs, Zotero will be automatically integrated when you install the Chrome or Firefox browser connector. Now you can begin adding items to your Zotero library. First, make sure Zotero is open, even if you minimize it. This is my Zotero Save button. If you don't see that and you're using Chrome, click on the extensions and pin it to the taskbar. This icon will change depending on the content in your browser. If you do your research using a search tool that aggregates resources, like Google Scholar for example, you'll see that the icon turns into a manila folder. This denotes a collection. If I click on that button and try to save this to my Zotero library, I'll save my list of sources here, but I won't save the individual articles. Fast Search is another example of a tool that aggregates resources. You can see by the manila folder up here that we're looking at a collection of resources. If I want to actually add the individual articles to my library, however, I'll need to drill down to the database level and access the individual article. You can see that the icon is changing. It turns into a piece of paper with a line on the bottom, and then it turns into a piece of paper with lines all the way through. This is what we need to see in order to add the full text to our library. Another thing to keep in mind is that generally speaking, it's best to be on the abstract page when you're adding things to your library. This is the data that is pulled in order to create citations. However, it can vary from database to database. The main thing is that you want to see that icon, the paper with the lines through it. It's very small and very subtle, but if you don't have the full text of the article, you won't be able to save it to your collection. If I click on that Save button, you'll see that it's adding the full text to my library. Here's the article we just added in our Zotero library. If I highlight the title of the article, it opens up a side panel that has our information, which is where our citations are pulled from, notes, tags, and related, which we'll go over later. If I click the little arrow next to the page icon, you can see that the PDF full text is listed here. Once I open my PDF, I'm able to highlight and add notes. This may vary depending on the type of program that you use to open your PDFs, but once I close this and save it, it'll be added to my Zotero library. As you begin to fill up your library, you may want to organize it by adding collections. To do that, you can either click on the icon in the upper left corner that says New Collection, or you can right-click or control-click on the library to add new collections. You can then name your collection, and then you have a new folder. You can also create subfolders by right-clicking or control-clicking on the collection and then adding a sub-collection. Additionally, you can add new libraries by clicking on the New Library icon. Once you've created your collections or folders, you can drag and drop articles into these collections. Keep in mind that this will just basically put in a copy. Your articles will always be in your Zotero library. So for example, we just pulled this article into this particular collection. While we can organize our Zotero library at the collection level, we can also organize it at the article level. For example, if I select this article, I can add notes. I can also tag this article. When I click on that, you can see that the database has added these index terms here. I can add my own, or I can search using these tags by using this search bar at the top. This is a way to search for title, creator, or year, or for all fields and tags that you create. It's another way to organize your collection. You can also include related articles. So you'll pull up a mini version of your Zotero library by clicking on Related, and you may want to relate certain articles, so you can select them from different collections and then add them in. This is another way to organize at the article level. In order to create in-text citations, bibliographies, and references from the resources in our Zotero library, let's first take a look at how that is done. If you select an article, you'll see that the metadata that's been imported when you put the article in your Zotero library is listed here in the info pane. This information may be different depending on the database or other resource that you imported your document from. For example, in this case, there's very little information. In fact, the publication isn't even listed. So that's something that I would need to go in and add if I wanted to have a proper reference. Again, different levels of metadata depending on the database or the website that you have imported your article from. If you need to make any changes to the information here, the best place to do it is in this info pane and not once you've created a citation. One of the most common changes that you would make would be in sentence casing of the title of a journal article. It's pretty common for databases to put the titles in title case instead of sentence case, and a really easy way to change that is to either right-click if you're on a PC or control-click if you're on a Mac, and then choose sentence case. That automatically puts the proper casing, and then you'll have a proper citation. There are several different ways to create references and bibliographies using Zotero. If you need to just copy a couple of citations from one of your collections, there are a couple of different ways to do this. One is to either right-click or control-click on the individual item and then create bibliography from item. When you click on that, you'll select your citation style and then click OK. And then that's copied onto your clipboard. Then what you'll do is open your word processing document and paste that in. Now I have a single citation. This can also be accomplished by selecting a single article and dragging and dropping it into your document. That's another way to add a single citation. Let's create some in-text citations using Zotero. I'm using Word, and you can see Zotero is listed here at the top of the page. You can also be using Google Docs or LibreOffice. When I click on Zotero, you can see the options to add or edit a citation or a bibliography. So we're doing in-text citations, so let's click on that Add Edit Citation. This box will pop up. I can start typing in the title of my work or the author, and Zotero will start to look for these letters or words in my Zotero collection. I can then choose the resource that I want to cite, hit enter, and Zotero will add in my in-text citation. If you need to include several authors in your in-text citation, click on Add Edit Citation, and then start typing the title of the work or the name of the author. Select the work. You'll see that the cursor is blinking right there, but you can go ahead and start typing your next resource in, either the author or the title, and then select that, and it will keep adding as many authors or works that you need. Once you're done, click Enter, and it will include the in-text citation for several authors. In some cases, you'll be directly quoting an author, so you'll need to include the page number as part of your in-text citation. In order to do that, click on Add Edit Citation, and then when the ribbon pops up, click on the little drop-down arrow next to the Z, then select Classic View. This opens a miniature Zotero library. Select the document that you want to cite and include the page number. Then click OK, and that will be included in your in-text citation. In other cases, you may mention the author in the sentence, so you won't need to include their name. So in order to suppress the author, click on Add Edit Citation, click on the little arrow again, select Classic View, select your document, and then click on Suppress Author. You can also suppress the author and include a page number as well. In this case, I'm just going to suppress the author and then click OK. So it's including the year. You may be wondering why you would do something like that rather than just typing in the year. And the reason that you would want to do that is because when Zotero creates a references page, it does it based on the in-text citations here. So that's why you'd want to insert your in-text citation even though it's only the year. In order to create a references page, which you would be doing with a separate document normally, you just click on the Add Edit Bibliography link, and Zotero will automatically create references based on the in-text citations within your paper. In some cases, you may want to create a bibliography of one of your collections. In order to do that, right-click or control-click on the collection, scroll down to Create Bibliography from Collection. You'll be prompted to choose your citation style, and once you do that, that information is copied. I can then go to my word processing document and paste that information in, and then I have a bibliography of that collection. That concludes our brief introduction to getting started using Zotero. To get more information, navigate to the library website, click on the Help tab, click on Quick Tip Videos, search for Zotero, and you'll see a link to the 9-part video tutorial series that we have on Zotero. Additionally, you can get more information under the documentation link on the Zotero site, including how to import from other reference managers and how to set up group libraries. For help with troubleshooting any issues you may encounter, click on the forums link on the Zotero website. You'll see announcements and discussions on different topics. You can also search. Happy researching!